She almost canceled the date when her little girl spilled juice all over her only dress. But she didn't know that tonight, her biggest fear would turn into her biggest blessing. Before we begin, if this story touches your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who still believes in love. Lena adjusted the tiny bow in her daughter Mia's hair, her fingers trembling slightly. It wasn't just nerves. It was that constant weight a single mom carried everywhere she went. Tonight was supposed to be her fresh start, as her best friend had called it. A blind date, her first in 3 years. She glanced down at the time on her phone. 6:58 p.m. He'd be here any minute. The restaurant was fancy, far beyond what she could usually afford, with gold-trimmed menus and candlelight dancing off glassware. She shouldn't even be here. She didn't belong in places like this. And certainly not with her 7-year-old daughter sitting beside her, sipping lemonade and swinging her legs under the table. "Mommy, do you think he'll like me?" Mia whispered. Lena's chest tightened. She wanted to smile but could only manage a soft sigh. "Sweetheart, he's not here to meet you, okay? He's just Mummy's friend." But Mia wasn't convinced. Her blue eyes sparkled with innocent excitement.
"I can tell him jokes. I practiced."
Lena laughed softly despite herself. "Let's just see how it goes, okay?" Truth was, she'd already considered canceling. Her babysitter had canceled last minute, and Lena couldn't bear to leave Mia alone. She had texted her date, apologizing and saying she'd have to bring her daughter. He never replied, so she expected the worst. At 7:05 the door opened. A tall man stepped inside, sharp suit, calm presence, eyes scanning the room. He looked out of place yet perfectly at home, like someone used to control, used to attention. When his gaze landed on Lena, her stomach dropped. That had to be him. "Ethan?" she asked when he reached the table. He smiled politely and extended a hand. "Lena, it's nice to finally meet you." Then, glancing down, he noticed Mia, who was now staring right back at him, clutching her little stuffed bunny. "Oh," he said softly. "And this must be..." Lena rushed to explain, cheeks burning. "I'm so sorry. I tried to find someone to watch her, but..." Ethan raised a hand, cutting her off gently. "No need to apologize." He crouched slightly to Mia's level. "Hi there, I'm Ethan." Mia blinked, then said seriously, "Are you rich?" Lena froze, mortified. But Ethan just laughed, a warm, genuine laugh that softened everything around him. "Depends who you ask," he said with a wink. "What do you think?" Mia considered it. "You dress like someone in a commercial." He grinned. "I'll take that as a compliment." From that moment something shifted. Dinner flowed with surprising ease. Ethan didn't seem bothered by the interruptions. Mia spilling water, or proudly showing him her crayon drawings on a napkin. He didn't flinch when she giggled too loud. Instead, he listened, asked questions, and treated her like she mattered. Lena watched in quiet awe. Most men she'd met before had either ignored her daughter or treated her like an obstacle. But Ethan leaned into every conversation with curiosity. Halfway through dinner, when Mia excused herself to the restroom, Lena whispered, "You don't have to pretend to be okay with all this. I know it's a lot." Ethan tilted his head. "A lot? She's 7, Lena said softly. "And I'm, well, me. Single mom, part-time nurse. You barely keeping things together. You probably expected someone different." He looked at her for a long, steady moment. "Lena, she's part of you. Why would I ever want to meet only half of you?" Her breath caught. No one had ever said anything like that before. Not her ex, not her family, not even her friends. They all saw her life as broken pieces. Work, motherhood, exhaustion. But Ethan saw it as a whole picture. That night, when they said goodbye outside the restaurant, Mia hugged him without hesitation.
"You should come to our next movie night,"
she said. Ethan laughed. "You drive a hard bargain, Miss Mia. I'll think about it." He walked away under the streetlights, turning once to smile. Lena stood there watching, heart heavier and lighter all at once. 2 weeks passed. What started as cautious texts turned into late-night phone calls and surprise visits. Ethan began showing up with small things. Flowers for Lena, coloring books for Mia. But as happiness crept in, so did fear. Lena knew how fragile her little world was. She had to protect Mia's heart more than her own. So one evening she told Ethan, "Maybe this shouldn't go further. You deserve someone less complicated." Ethan didn't flinch. He took her hand. "Lena, you're not complicated. You're real. And that's the only kind of person I want in my life." She blinked back tears. But you don't know what it's like to raise a child alone, to never stop worrying. He smiled sadly. Maybe not. But I do know what it's like to feel alone in a room full of people. I know what it's like to want a family and not have one. That night, he stayed for dinner. It wasn't a candlelit restaurant this time. Just Lena's tiny kitchen, spaghetti and garlic bread, and Maya telling endless stories about school. But Ethan looked happier than she'd ever seen him. It wasn't about luxury. It was about belonging. 2 months passed, and Ethan became part of their lives, not as a guest, but as someone who belonged. He helped Mia with her science project, fixed the squeaky kitchen door, and even learned how to braid hair after watching a tutorial. One evening, Mia came running in from school, clutching a paper. I had to draw my family for class, she said proudly. She showed the paper. A stick figure of her mom herself, and a tall man with brown hair labeled Ethan Almost Dad. Lena laughed and covered her mouth, tears welling up. Ethan just smiled, eyes glistening. He knelt beside Mia. Almost Dad, huh? I can live with that. A year later, Ethan proposed. Not with grand gestures or fancy dinners, but in that same little kitchen, over spaghetti and garlic bread. He got down on one knee and looked at both of them. You and Mia are my family, Lena. I don't just want to marry you. I want to be there for both of you, for every messy, beautiful moment. Mia squealed before Lena could even answer, hugging him tight.
Say yes, Mommy.
Lena nodded, tears streaming. Yes. She feared her daughter would ruin her chance at love, but instead her daughter led her to it. Because sometimes, love doesn't come to fill what's missing. It comes to embrace what's already there. If this story touched your heart, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs hope, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that remind us love still wins.